Hello. Welcome to this pre-recorded lecture. For today, we will be discussing all about mental status assessment. Since last time we finished the abnormalities in the reproductive system. So now we will be moving on to the mental status assessment. So when we say mental status, it is a person's emotional and cognitive functioning. It should allow the person to function socially and occupationally. Meaning, yung mental health status ng isang tao hindi dapat makakagulo or makakasira sa pagpa-function niya or how he or she reacts with other people, ayan, sa work niya, ganon. So, dapat optimum level of functioning dapat si client or ang taong ito. Functioning of a mental status is interfered through assessment of an individual's behaviors. So, possible na kung meron siyang problema sa isa or ilan sa mga ito, possible na may problema po sa kanyang mental status. Therefore, pag may isa or more than one na problema dito, you will be needing to do further assessment sa pasyente mo. Okay? So let's start with consciousness. So when we say consciousness, it is being aware of one's own existence, feelings, and thoughts, and aware of the environment. This is the most basic of mental status functions. Pinaka-basic. Dapat kilala ng taong yun kung sino siya, ano yung nararamdaman niya, ano yung naiisip niya, anong nangyayari sa paligid niya. Okay? So most common kasi na, what do you call this? Cases natin is dissociation of the patients. Ayan. So, minsan hindi na nila kilala yung sarili nila. This is in psychiatric ward, hindi po sa normal na ward. Okay? So, usually, hindi nila kilala yung sarili nila. Hindi nila kilala yung parents nila or yung mga taong nakasurround sa kanila. Their own family, how they feel, sino ba sila, asan sila, ayan. So this is kaya nga tinawag na most basic kasi ito dapat yung alam na alam mo. Okay? Next is language, using voice to communicate one's thoughts and feelings. So pero regarding language, medyo madalang naman po. Some of them can still speak their language. Ayan. Mood and affect. When we say affect, that is a temporary expression of feelings or state of mind, whereas mood is more durable, prolonged display of feelings that depict the whole emotional life. Okay, when we say affect, usually yan lang yung expression ng nararamdaman mo ngayon. Okay, ngayon lang. But when you say mood, pwede yang mag-last the whole day, 3 days, a whole week, ayan. So, pwedeng ganun, especially with people who are grieving, ayan. So, when you are grieving, for example, naghiwalay kayo ng partner mo or namatayan ka, ayan. So, you could say that your mood is down. Siyempre, mag-grieve ka ilang weeks, months. Possible nga yung iba hindi talaga maka-move on or maka-get over sa loss of their loved ones. Ayan. So, pwedeng matagal silang malungkot or grieving yung mood nila. But, it doesn't mean that every day, every minute, hindi sila ngumingiti, hindi sila tumatawa. Okay? Yun yung affect. Na pwede kang posible na ngumiti ka ngayon, pero yung mood mo, malungkot ka pa rin. Okay? Orientation, that is awareness of the outside world relation to the self. So, dapat, ito yung sinasabing orientation to the outside world or your environment. Pwedeng aware ka sa nangyayari sa'yo, okay? Part din to ng consciousness ng isang tao, your orientation. Pwedeng alam mo kung asan ka, anong nangyayari sa paligid mo. That is orientation. Attention, that is the power of concentration, the ability to focus on one specific thing without being distracted by many environmental stimuli. Ayan. So, depende sa attention span ng isang tao kasi usually the attention span of one person to focus on something could, for example, sa isang klase, so you could listen to a class without doing anything ng siguro 1 hour to 30 minutes. Pero at some point, pagkatapos niyan, possible that you will look at other things in your surroundings, mapapatingin ka. Possible that you will check your phone. Possible that you will talk to your seatmate. Ayan. So that is the attention span, your power to concentrate. Memory, that is the ability to lay down and store experiences and perceptions for later recall. This is how you remember stuff. When we say recent memory, evokes day-to-day events. So, ibig sabihin, naalala mo pa kung ano yung kinain mo kaninang breakfast, kagabi, anong nangyari kahapon. Ayan. While remote memory brings up years worth of experiences. Kung ano nangyari nung 9 years old ka, nung Christmas, saan kayo nagbakasyon ng family mo nung bata ka. Ayan, that is remote memory. Abstract reasoning, pondering a deeper meaning beyond the concrete and literal. This is when you don't take things literally. Okay, so for example, sinabi ka ng kumain ka ng, ayaw mong kumain, tapos sabi ng mother mo, kumain ka kahit isang kutsara lang. Okay? You have abstract reasoning. Therefore, you can understand na ang tinutukoy ng mama mo is isang kutsara ng pagkain. Or in fact, people who do not have this or may problema sa abstract reasoning, pag sinabi mo, kumain ka kahit isang kutsara lang, ang kakainin nila yung kutsara. Okay? So that is abstract reasoning. When we say thought process, this is the way a person thinks. This is the logical train of thought. Okay, regarding thought process, iba't iba po tayo ng thought process. Possible na ito yung mindset mo, iba rin sa mindset ng kaklase mo, ng kaibigan mo. Ayan. So kung para sa'yo, naintindihan mo itong isang bagay na to, na logical itong gantong paraan, possible na yung kaklase mo, hindi. Iba yung way of thinking niya. Okay? That is thought process. Kaya nga minsan nagkakaroon ng mga misunderstanding between people. Excuse me. Thought content. This is what the person thinks. Ayan, specific ideas, beliefs, and use of words. Ayan. Thought content, since iba't iba nga tayo, iba't iba bawat tao, yan yung nilalaman ng isip mo. Perceptions is an awareness of objects through the 5 senses. So possible na, for example, yung tubig, para sa'yo, sobrang lamig na nito. Pero sa kaibigan mo, kaya naman niya. Okay? That is your perception. That is his or her perception. Para sa'yo, sobrang init ngayon. Para sa kanya, kulang na lang mag-jacket pa siya. Okay? That is your perception. Iba't iba tayo ng ating perception. Next, components, okay, of mental status examination. Ito yung mga titignan mo sa mga tao, okay? Ito yung dapat yung tignan sa mga pasyente ninyo, sa mga kliyente niyo. Number 1 is appearance. Hindi naman sa we are judging people. Ayan. Pero ito yung ibang tinitignan natin kasi these are cues already. Ayan. Especially as a nurse or especially if you work in the psychiatric ward, ina-assess nyo yung mga tao. First is appearance. Under that, you have posture. Posture is erect and position is relaxed. Pero hindi naman po lahat ng tao is, what do you call this? Erect or maayos ang kanyang posture. Kasi minsan yung iba maglalakad tayo, kukuba-kuba. Minsan hindi natin maayos yung pag-upo natin. But sabi nga natin, perception of things, orientation, consciousness, ayan. So, dapat aware ka kung madaming tao, this is how exactly you should behave. Na dapat maayos kang umupo, dapat presentable kang tignan, ayan. Wherein, in the case of people who have a problem, yung mga medyo malalaha, hindi ko sinasabi na pag meron silang ganito or pag ganito sila, may problema na sila sa kanilang mental status, okay? So, number 1, ayan, sitting on the edge of a chair. Imagine, ang laki-laki ng upuan, dun ka uupo sa pinakadulo niya. Okay, sabihin natin sa monoblock, ang uupuan mo lang yung 2 inches dun sa may dulo. That's abnormal. Curled in bed without any reason. Nakatulala lang siya dyan. For example, abnormal. Tense muscles, wala namang reason. Darting watchful eyes, kanina pa nakatitig sa'yo. Na parang sinusundan ka kahit saan ka magpunta. Abnormal. Frowning without any reason. Restless pacing. When you say restless pacing, ayan, palakad-lakad siya, paikot-ikot dyan, hindi mapakali. These findings indicate either anxiety or yan, hyperthyroidism. Sitting slumped on a chair, ayan, yung mga bigla-bigla na lang uupo, tapos hindi mo pa maintindihan yung kanilang posture. Slow walk, these findings may indicate depression and some organic brain disease. Ayan. So since hindi ko naman sinasabi ng mabagal maglakad is may depression na po, hindi po. Okay. So slow walk kasi usually people with depression, they don't really have the energy to do those things anymore na what do you call this? Bibilisan pa nilang maglakad, ganyan. So depende na rin sa case ng tao. Kaya nga dapat magaling tayong mag-assess. Okay? Dapat magaling tayong mag-assess as nurses. Okay, so when we say body movements naman, ayan yung mga voluntary movements na ginagawa ng mga pasyente natin, ito yung mga i-observe din natin sa kanila. Ayan. So abnormal findings, restless, fidgety movements, hyperkinetic appearance, these findings may indicate anxiety. Ayan, di sila mapakali kung ano-anong ginagawa. Okay, especially sa may mga PTSD, okay, post-traumatic stress disorder. So, meron din iba sa kanila na sobrang bilis maglakad, yung pag may kumalabog lang, magugulat sila kagad. Yung mga gugulatin, ayun, tawag dito, yun, usually, that is also a response to PTSD na pinagdaanan nila. Ayan. So, dress, syempre, kailangan yung suot ng pasyente mo, depende sa setting, season. Ayan, kung ilang taon. For example, ibig mong sabihin, kung yung 15 years old, magsusuot ba siya ng pang 2 years old? Okay? Yung, what do you call this? Lola na magsusuot siya ng mga crop top and mini skirts. Okay? So, hindi naman pwede yun. Okay? Hindi naman sa binibigyan nga natin ng rules and all that. Pero, di ba, dapat i-apply din sa kanilang age, saka setting. Ayan. For example, season, pupunta ka ng Baguio, tapos ang suot mo, naka-mini skirt ka, naka-tube ka. Okay? Hindi ka kaya lamigin nun pag ganun. Yan. So, abnormal findings. Inappropriate dress, provocative manner of dressing with bizarre makeup. So, these findings may indicate mental disorders like schizophrenia and histrionic personality. Ayan. So, depende sa pagsusuot natin. Pero dito nga sa Pilipinas, di ba, madaling sabihin na ang lamig-lamig, tapos yung mga suot, maninipis. Or ang init-init naman tapos naka-jacket. Okay? So, depende na lang yung mga ganon. Grooming and hygiene. Okay? So, dapat yung pasyente natin well-groomed po. Pati tayo din, syempre. So, abnormal findings, syempre, inappropriate yung dress mo, poor hygiene, lack of concern. Kasi yung mga taong may lack of concern with their appearance, possible na may depression din sila. Ayan. Kasi, di ba, usually, pag tayo, gusto natin presentable tayong humarap sa mga tao. Presentable tayong humarap sa mga pasyente natin. So, yun yung gusto natin. Pero sa kanila, minsan hindi na nila nakikita yung mga yan. Minsan ang hahaba ng kuko, madumi, buhok, magulo na, ayan. So, dapat clean and well-groomed. Number 2 na titingnan, behavior. Under that is level of consciousness na discuss na noon. Diyan papasok yung pagiging alert. Dapat yung pasyente natin, dapat alert siya kahit anong sabihin mo. Magagawa niya kagad, agad-agad, naintindihan niya kung ano yung mga tinatanong mo. nakakasagot siya ng maayos, wherein abnormal findings are lethargic, obtunded, stuporous, comatose. Syempre, pag comatose, hindi na sumasagot yan. So these findings indicate neurologic disorders and systemic conditions like hypoxia, hypoglycemia, overdose of medication, septicemia, and hypovolemia. Ayan. Next is facial expression. The look is appropriate to the situation and changes appropriately with the topic. There is comfortable eye contact unless precluded in the cultural norm. So example, direct eye contact may be viewed as a sign of disrespect in some cultures. So depende sa mga kultura natin. Like for example, in VMU, iba't ibang what do you call this, culture ng mga estudyante ang nandun. Meron tayong mga Filipino, merong mga Nigerian, even American meron. May mga Thai, mga kung ano-ano pang Asian, ganyan. So iba't iba tayo ng countries na pinanggalingan, wherein we all have different cultures. So usually in the Philippines, it is a sign of respect pag tumitingin ka directly sa mata nila when you talk to them. Kasi it means na nakikinig ka. But in some cultures, pag tinignan mo sila sa mata, it is considered as disrespect. So yun yung dapat inaalam din natin, especially if we are going to work abroad. Ayan. With regards naman to facial expression, dapat yung facial expression mo tumutugma doon sa pinag-uusapan ninyo. Hindi yung naglalabas ng sama ng loob yung kaibigan mo tapos ang nakikinig ka sa kanya, nakangiti ka pa, na tumatango-tango, na tumatawa-tawa. Okay? So that is not appropriate. Diba? So idepende mo naman sa topic at pinag-uusapan ninyo. So abnormal findings, flat mask-like facial expression. So yung halos wala na siyang maibigay na facial expression sa'yo, parang laging tinatamad, normal facial expression lang, hindi ngumingiti, hindi man lang gumagalaw yung eyebrows, ganyan. So this finding may indicate depression and Parkinsonism. So speech, ayan, syempre, yan yung unang-una rin natin mapapansin minsan sa mga pasyente natin. How he or she interacts with you through a conversation na dapat appropriate nga naman talaga. So abnormal findings, dysphonia, abnormal volume or pitch. Yung for example, pabago-bago yung pitch niya pag kinakausap ka, sobrang baba na akala mo si Darth Vader na. Ayan. Monopolizes interview, silent, secretive, uncommunicative. So regarding silent and secretive, syempre gets ko, kailangan din nating kunin yung rapport with our patient para makipag-usap talaga sila sa atin. But if he or she continues to become like that, wala na kayong papupuntahan ng pasyente mo. Kasi nga kailangan mong mag-gather ng information, di ba? Part of assessment yan, yung pag-interview sa kanya. Pero kung hindi siya nagre-respond sa kahit na anong tanungin mo, wala talaga kayong pupuntahan. The pace of the conversation is moderate and stream of talking is fluid. Dysarthria, distorted speech, misuse of words, ayan kung ano-ano na yung sinasabi, omits letters, syllables, or words, repetitious abnormal patterns like your echolalia and neologism. Echolalia, when you say echolalia, inuulit-ulit yung sinasabi mo. Para kumain ka na, tapos sasagot siya, kumain ka na. Anong kinain mo? Anong kinain mo? Gaganon din siya sa'yo. Neologism, gumagawa-gawa siya ng mga sarili niyang words na hindi mo naman maintindihan kung ano ibig sabihin nun. Pero para sa kanya, merong ibig sabihin. That is neologism. Unduly long word finding or failure in word search or aphasia. Ayan. Mood and affect, judge this by body language and facial expression and by asking, how do you feel today or how do you feel? So, dapat appropriate nga naman yung sinasabi ng tao doon sa expression niya. So, usually, pag ganun, ibig sabihin, gusto talagang makipag-cooperate ng pasyente mo sa'yo. So, hindi naman pwedeng sinabi mong, kamusta ka ngayon? Tapos sasabihin niya sa'yo, eto, saya-saya ako ngayon. Pero yung titignan mo yung facial expression niya, walang nagbago. Nakatingin lang sa'yo, walang ngiti, walang kahit ano. Okay? Sabihin mo masaya ka pero yung expression ng mukha mo hindi appropriate doon sa sinasabi mong nararamdaman mo. Okay? That's abnormal. Abnormal findings for this, example, wide mood swings and bizarre mood. So example, wide mood swings, pabago-bago nung, what do you call this, mood niya. Ngayon, tumatawa siya, tapos mamaya iiyak na. Ang bilis mag-switch nung mood nila. Ibahin nyo yung mga normal na nakikita ninyo. Okay? Ibahin yung normal na nakikita nyo sa mga tao na natural. Pag yung umiiyak, bigla mong pinatawa, tatawa talaga yan. But with regards to these people, sobrang bilis mag-switch nung mood nila. Okay? Sobrang bilis. Cognitive functions, orientation, assess the following. Dapat alam ng pasyente mo yung day of the week, date, year, and season. Place, where the person lives, present location, type of building, name of city and state. Person, own name and age. Abnormal findings, disorientation. When you say disorientation, pwedeng example niyan is delirium and dementia. Orientation nga, tinetestingan natin kung aware pa ba siya sa nangyayari sa kanya, kung sino siya, anong date ngayon. Baka mamaya sabihin niya 1995, di ba? 1995 ngayon, sabihin niya. So, abnormal yon. Attention span. Check the patient's ability to concentrate by noting whether he or she completes a thought without wondering. So, for example, ini-interview mo siya. Tapos bigla-biglang, kinakamusta mo kung sino yung nanay niya, sino yung tatay. Nanay ko si Maria, Leonora. Uy, ang ganda-ganda ng sapatos mo. Sabi niya sa'yo bigla. Hindi pa niya tapos yung sinasabi niya, na-distract na siya kagad. Okay? Ibig sabihin, may problema talaga. Diba? Bigla-biglang sumisingit eh. Ayan, easily distracted, irrelevant replies to questions, confusion. So sabi mo, kamusta ka ngayon? Sabi mo ganun sa kanya. Pupunta ako mamaya sa Korea. Sabi niya ganun sa'yo. Okay? May problema yung pasyente mo talaga. Diba? So recent memory, assess assess by asking questions as follows. At what time did you wake up this morning? What did you have for breakfast this morning? What is the name of the physician who visited you this morning? So usually kung recent memory, dapat maalala nila. Okay, hapon pa lang ngayon, for example, tinanong mo siya niyan, dapat maalala niya yan. Kasi simple lang naman yan, kaninang umaga lang naman, maaalala at maaalala yan ng isang normal na tao. So, remote memory, syempre, past, medyo malayong memories. When is your birthday? Dapat alam niya yon. Ano yung unang naging trabaho mo? Kailan yung wedding anniversary ninyo ng asawa mo? Kailan ka graduate ng elementary? Ayan. So, judgment, a patient exercise judgment if he or she can compare and evaluate the alternative in a situation and reach an appropriate course of action to assess judgment. So, dapat i-assess mo kung ano ba yung plano nitong pasyente mo. Dapat realistic po, according din sa kanyang health situation. For example, itong pasyente mo, alam mong naka-admit ngayon dito sa mental institution, tapos sasabihin niya, bukas, magiging presidente ako ng Pilipinas. Ay, nako, may problema talaga. Diba? Ano yung mga plano niyang gawin para sa pamilya niya? So for example, pag sinabi niya bigla sa'yo na bukas, kasi Christmas, isi-celebrate ko yun kasama yung pamilya ko. Okay? Uuwi ako mamaya, bibilan ko sila ng mga regalo. Pero naka-admit siya sa inyo. Okay? Mental patient ha? Naka-admit siya dun sa hospital ninyo. So possible, may iniisip tong pasyenteng to, baka nga possible na may problemang mangyayari. Diba? So, you need to assess that. Dapat okay yung judgment ng pasyente mo. Pero pag sinabi niya kunwari sa'yo na, naniniwala ako, pag magaling na ako, makakalabas ako dito, makakasama ko din yung pamilya ko. Okay? Mas okay yon. Ibig sabihin, mas nagiging okay siya, nagkakaroon siya ng improvement sa kanyang judgment. Ibig sabihin, alam na niya kung ano yung tama at mali. Alam niya kung anong nangyayari ngayon sa sitwasyon niya. Okay? So, yan yung mga i-assess natin. Thought process naman, pang-apat na i-assess. So, tatanungin mo, itong pasyente ko ba, mukhang may sense siya kausap? Tama ba yung sinasabi niya? Okay? So, it should be logical. Logical dapat. Goal-directed, coherent, and relevant. Normal findings, illogical, unrealistic thought process, deviates from initial thought, and blocking. Bigla-bigla siyang titigil habang nagkikwento sa'yo. Ayan, so may problema din yun. ito lang naman titignan natin yung mga abnormal. So, dapat ma-assess mo as a nurse kung ano yung dapat na pag-iisip ng pasyente mo. Dapat ma-assess mo kagad kung may sense ba, logical ba 'to mag-isip? Ayan, kapani-paniwala ba? Realistic ba itong sinasabi niya? Yun. Thought content, okay, should be consistent and logical. Abnormal findings, obsessions, and compulsions. When you say obsessions, yan yung mga iniisip niya. Compulsions, that is when he or she is acting based on his or her obsessions. Ayan. Obsession is the thought, compulsion is the action. Perception, the patient should be consistently aware of reality. Perception should be congruent with yours as the following. Dapat parehas kayo kasi ikaw normal ka eh. Normal ka na nurse niya unless parehas kayo. Okay? Dapat parehas kayo ng pag-iisip. So, ito yung mga ibang pwede mong tanongin sa kanya. How do people treat you? Pag sinabi niyang, grabe, minamaltrato ko dito kanina, hindi ako pinakain. Pero alam mo na dinalhan siya kanina ng pagkain ng coworker mo. Okay? Do other people talk about you? Ayo, pinag-uusapan ako ng mga nurse dun sa nurse station. Okay? Or in fact, you know, na mag-isa mo lang na naka-duty ngayon. Oh. Do you feel like you're being watched, followed, or controlled? Ayan. So, mamaya sabihin niya sa'yo, oo, pinapanood nila ako ngayon. Sabi nila, papatay na daw nila ako mamaya. Okay? Bumubulong, naririnig ko sila. Is your imagination very active? Have you heard your name when alone? Delikado, nagkakaroon siya ng auditory hallucinations. Okay? So, you need to assess how your patient is aware sa nangyayari sa kanyang surroundings. Speech disorders. First, dysphonia. When you say dysphonia, that is difficulty in talking with abnormal pitch or volume due to laryngeal disease. Voice sounds hoarse or whispered, but articulation and language are intact. So may problema lang po sa speech. Sa pitch. Ayan, or volume. Pero yung pakikipag-usap naman niya, the articulation, yung language na ginagamit, normal pa naman. When you say dysarthria, distorted speech sounds, speech may sound unintelligible, basic language is intact. And when you say aphasia, that is a true language disturbance. So defect in word choice or grammar, or defect in comprehension. So you have 3 types. When you say expressive, the patient is unable to speak clearly, pero naintindihan ka niya. Hindi nga lang siya makasagot ng maayos or ma-express yung sarili niya. Ang problema dyan is the Broca's area, or tinatawag din natin itong Broca's aphasia or expressive aphasia. Receptive aphasia, the patient can hear sounds and words but cannot interpret or understand them. Naririnig ka niya pero hindi ka niya maintindihan. Okay? So, due to the lesion of auditory speech center of Wernicke's area, ito rin tinatawag din siyang Wernicke's aphasia or Wernicke's aphasia. And global aphasia, spontaneous speech and comprehension are absent. This is due to lesions in the Broca's and Wernicke's area. Hindi ka na nga niya maintindihan, hindi pa niya ma-express yung sarili niya. Okay, abnormal mood and affect ito. So when you say flat affect, lack of emotional response, wala kang makitang expression sa mukha niya. No expression of feelings, normal lang. So voice is monotonous and face is immobile. Topic varies, expression does not. So for example, if you know Miss Jacqueline Jose, the actress, ayan, di ba? So paano daw yung how she acts, okay? For example, may nasusunog, tapos ang normal na tao sisigaw na yan, tulong, tulong, may sunog, ganyan, ganyan. Pero if a person has flat affect, ayan, tulong, tulong, may sunog. O, parang ganon. Monotonous yung boses niya, walang kare-reaksyon, flat affect or blunted affect ang tawag doon. Depression, sad, gloomy, ayan. Symptoms may occur in a rainy weather after a holiday or an illness. If the situation is temporary, symptoms fade quickly. Pero may mga depression na ilang years na, gano'n. So, depersonalization, lack of ego boundaries. Loss of identity, hindi na niya kilala yung sarili niya. Feels strange, perplexed about own identity and meaning of existence. Patient could state, I don't feel real, I don't feel like I'm really here. Ayan. Elation, joy, optimism, overconfidence. Increased motor activity, not necessarily pathologic. So when you are elated, of course, temporarily normal siya. Pero pag yung dire-diretso kang elated na sobrang sayo, masyado ka ng confident, okay? Parang nagiging narcissistic and egoistic ka na pag ganun, pag dire-diretso na ganyan. Euphoria, excessive well-being, unusually cheerful or elated, which is inappropriate considering physical and mental condition, implies pathologic mood. Patient states, I'm high, I feel like I'm flying. Ayan. So usual na nafe-feel ito ng mga drug addicts. Ayan, yung mga overdose na sa medication, ganyan. Mga pinagbabawal na medication. They feel euphoric. Anxiety, worried, uneasy, apprehensive from the anticipation of danger whose source is unknown. So when you say anxiety, it's like you don't know why you are having this fear or bakit ka uneasy, bakit ako worried, hindi ko naman alam kung anong dahilan. That is anxiety. But when you say fear, alam mo kung ano yung source nung kinakatakot mo. Yun yung pinagkaiba nitong dalawang ito. Pag fear, alam mo yung dahilan. Anxiety, hindi mo alam, basta natatakot ka. Yun yung nararamdaman mo. Irritability, annoyed, easily provoked, impatient person internalizes a feeling of tension and a seemingly mild stimulus sets him or her off. Mabilis kang mairita. Okay? Konting bagay lang, konting kibot lang, magagalit ka na. Rage, furious, loss of control, person has expressed violent behavior towards self and others. Ito yung piniprevent natin, especially sa mga case ng mga psych patients. Hindi pwedeng maging violent sila or maging harmful sila sa kanilang sarili or pati sa ibang pasyente natin. Yan yung piniprevent natin. Ambivalence, the existence of opposing emotions towards an idea, object, or person. A person feels love and hate towards another at the same time. So abnormal siya pag nakakaramdam ka ng dalawang opposing na emotion sa isang tao, isang bagay. For example, itong taong to, mahal mo siya, but you hate him or her at the same time. Take note, kung nararamdaman mo to, normal ka pa kung mas nangingibabaw ang isa doon. So, it could either you hate this person 40%, 30%, 20%, pero mas nangingibabaw yung pagmamahal mo sa kanya. Okay? That's normal. But with regards to ambivalence, pantay eh. Pantay yung hate, pantay yung love. Okay? Yun yung abnormal doon. Kasi usually dapat may nangingibabaw na emosyon dyan. But in the case of people who are ambivalent, walang nangingibabaw. Yun. Lability or labile, makikita mo ito, labile din. So, rapid shift of emotions, person expresses euphoric, tearful, angry feelings in a rapid succession. Ayan, so biglang nagbabago talaga. Tumatawa, biglang umiiyak, tapos bigla nang nagalit sa'yo. Tapos after that, tatawa na naman siya, okay? That's abnormal. Mga mood shifts. Thought processes, ayan, blocking. So, sudden interruption of train of thought, unable to complete sentence, seems related to strong emotion. Patient states, forgot what I was going to say. What was I talking about? So, ayan, nakalimutan niya bigla. Nag-uusap lang kayo, tapos biglang wala na. Parang mental block. Ayan. So, but take note, sometimes they are doing this, what do you call this? Na sinasadya nila. Ayan. Confabulation, gumagawa-gawa ng kwento. Kinamusta mo yung pasyente mo? Sabi mo kanina, kamusta ka? Anong ginawa mo kanina? Ayun, pumunta ako ng garden. Diniligan ko yung mga halaman. But you know that he or she is admitted in a hospital na wala pong garden doon. Okay, that's confabulation. Gumagawa na siya ng kwento. Neologism, coining a new word. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. Possible na wala naman talagang meaning yung word na yon. Pero para sa kanya, may ibig sabihin yun. Gawa-gawa lang niya na word. Okay, that's neologism. Circumlocution, roundabout expression, substituting a phrase and one cannot think the name of the object. For example, sasabihin sa'yo, pwedeng pahiram nung ginagamit na pansulat. Yung may pambura sa dulo niya. Yan, yung tinatasaran, pahiram nga nun. Pwede naman niyang sabihin, pahiram nga ng lapis. Okay, but He used circumlocution, roundabout expression, paligoy-ligoy. Circumstantiality talks with excessive and unnecessary details, delays reaching point, sentences have meaningful connection but irrelevant. So ayan, more than circumlocution, circumstantiality, mas paikot-ikot na pwede naman niyang sabihin ng mabilisan, pero ang dami-dami pang sinasabi. Okay? Loosening associations, associative looseness. Ayan. So shifting from one topic to unrelated topic. Person seems unaware that topic are unconnected. Wala namang kinalaman yung mga topic. Flight of ideas, abrupt change, rapid shifting from topic to topic, practically continuous flow of accelerated speech. Topic usually have an unrecognizable associations that are placed on words. Ayan, kung paiba-iba yung sinasabi niya. So, pa-jump siya ng scenario. Word salad, incoherent mixture of words, phrases, and sentences, illogical and disconnected. For example, word salad, literal na salad kasi hindi mo maintindihan kung ano yung mga sinasabi niya, kung ano-ano na yan. Noon, sinabi niya sa baso, lapis, charger, unan. Ayan. That's word salad. Perseveration, persistent repeating of verbal or motor response even with a varied stimuli. Echolalia, imitation, repeats others' words or phrases, often with a mumbling or mocking or mechanical tone. Ayan. So, sabi niya ganun. Anong pangalan mo? Ganun. Anong pangalan mo? Sabi niya. Ba't mo ako ginagaya? Ba't mo ako ginagaya? Hindi ka titigil? Hindi ka titigil? O, ayan. Ginagaya ka na niya. So, clang association or clanging. Okay, word choice based on sound, not meaning. For example, sinabi sa'yo, book, hook, took. Ayan. So, magkaka-rhyme. So, includes nonsense, rhymes, and puns. Abnormality ng thought content. So, phobia, very familiar, laging narinig. Strong, persistent, irrational fear an object or situation that feels driven to avoid. So, people who have phobia, ayaw talaga nila. Hindi sa nag-iinarte sila. So, which is why we shouldn't play around with people's fears. Kasi possible na baka mamaya sa sobrang takot niyang taong yan, hindi mo alam, may pinanggagalingan talaga, mamaya bigla pang maatake dyan. Hindi yung ipipilit nyong, sige, para maka-get over ka dyan sa takot mong yan. Yun na nga eh, may specific na ginagawa ang mga nurses, ang mga doctors para sa mga ganyan. Exposing them little by little. Hindi yung biglang takot sa gagamba, babatuhan na ng gagamba. Okay? Nagpanik yan, maatake pa. Oh. So, dapat hindi natin pinaglalaroan kung ano man yung mga phobia nitong mga taong ito. Hypochondriasis, morbid worrying about his or her own health, feels sick with no actual basis for that assumption. So usually, nasabi niya, masakit ang ulo ko, siguro may brain tumor na ako, wala, baka mamamatay na ako. Ayan. So wala naman actual basis, hindi naman na sinabi ng doktor na mamamatay ka, na may cancer ka, hindi naman sinabi. So these people tend to worry about it to the point na malala na talaga. Okay, yung iniisip nila is andun na kagad sa pinakamalala or worst case scenario, yung mga may hypochondriasis. And there are times wherein they would do doctor hopping. Ayan. Again, obsession, unwanted persistent thoughts or impulses, logic will not purge them from consciousness, experience as intrusive and senses. So kahit anong gawin mo sa kanila, huwag mo nang isipin yan, di yan kahit anong kumbinsin nyo sa kanila, hindi nyo sila makukumbinsi. Kahit i-explain nyo ng maayos, hindi nila magigets yan. Okay? Compulsion. So that obsession will lead to compulsion. That thought will lead to an action. When we say compulsion, it is unwanted, repetitive, purposeful acts. They are acting based on their obsession. They have this drive to do it, which is their obsession nga. Behavior thought or to neutralize or prevent discomfort or some dreaded event. Kasi nga napapaisip sila, may thought sila. So kailangan gawin nila itong mga compulsion na to para ma-relieve sila, para mag-relax sila, para hindi sila mag-panic. Example, counting rituals. Merong mga tao na yung mga tiles bibilangin nila pag naglalakad sila. Yung mga makikita nilang desk, ayan, kung ilan na yung nilakad nila, ayan. So, bibilangin na. Repeated hand washing. Merong mga taong ganun to the point na minsan halos masugat na yung mga kamay nila sa kaka-hand wash nila ng paulit-ulit dyan. Touching rituals. Ayan. touching each material and clothing stores, doors, walls, desks, or merong mga tao sa school, pag dumaan sa isang hallway, dire-diretso niyang hinahawakan yung wall. Hanggang doon sa dulo ng hallway na yun, hahawakan niya. Ayan. So, cleanliness, scrubbing the floor every day, yung mga may sa paglilinis, mga OC nga, obsessive compulsive, ayun. Take note, do not ever stop them from doing these rituals. Okay? Wag na wag niyo silang pipigilan. The more that you stop them, the more na mag-escalate yung anxiety and fear nila. The more silang magpapanik. Okay? So, kailangan talaga nilang gawin itong mga to. Delusion, firm fixed beliefs, irrational. Person clings to delusion despite objective evidence to contrary. So for example, sinabi mo, asawa ako ni Leonardo DiCaprio. Ayan. Pero hindi ka naman niya kilala. Girlfriend ko si Ivana Alawi. Ayan. So you are having a delusion. Ganyan. So, meron tayong types of delusions. Meron tayong tinatawag na delusion of grandeur, or minsan nakikita ito na delusion of grandiosity. Ayan, depende sa case. But usually, delusion of grandeur. Person believes that he or she is God, someone famous, historical, well-known person. Kunwari, sinabi niya, ako si Leni Robredo, ako si Bongbong Marcos, ako si Sara Duterte, ako yung susunod na magiging Vice President. Okay? Anak ako ng presidente ng Pilipinas. Isa akong artista ngayon. Ayan. So sinasabi, ako yung prinsesa ng Japan. Ako yung prinsesa ng UK. Ganyan. So he or she is thinking na he or she is someone na sikat, someone na kilalang kilala, someone powerful, someone famous. Ayan, that is delusion of grandeur. Delusion of persecution, yan yung mga paranoid. Hindi lang totally paranoid kasi may ibang branches din ang ating paranoid. But when you say delusion of persecution, yun yung may delusion siya na eto papatayin nila ako, inaantay lang nila. Diyan na sila, kukunin na nila ako, kidnapin nila ako, papatayin nila ako mamaya. Okay? Ganun yung isip nila. Persecution, yung papatayin at papatayin sila, mamamatay ako ngayon. Okay? As if they are always in danger. Delusion of jealousy, person believes his or her partner is going out with other people. Ayan yung sobrang mag-isip na kunwari, nakita mo lang na tumatawa sa harap ng phone, tapos akala mo may ka-text ng iba, tapos bigla mong sinampal. Okay? Delusion of jealousy na yun. That is not normal already. Hallucination, sensory perception for which there are no external stimuli may affect any sense. Visual, auditory, tactile, olfactory, and gustatory. Illusion, misperception of an actual existing stimulus by any sense. Okay, pinagkaiba ng hallucination and illusion. Okay? Ang pinagkaiba nitong dalawang ito is that when you say hallucination, walang external stimuli, meaning mas delikado po ang hallucination. Okay? Wala ka namang naririnig wala ka naman talagang nakikita But wala namang sound, wala naman talagang andun, pero nakakakita ka, nakakarinig ka. Okay? But when it comes to illusion, for example, may nakita ka lang naman na kumot na puti na nakasampay, tas akala mo multo. Okay? Misperception lang. Misperception lang yun. Akala mo lang. Nagkaroon ka lang ng illusion na akala mo multo yun. Okay? May mga kumakalabog sa yero ninyo, sa bubong ninyo, tapos akala mo meron ng aswang o manananggal na naandyan. Yun pala may mga pusa lang na naghahabulan. Okay? So misperception lang yun. But when it comes to hallucination na ikaw lang ang nakakarinig, ikaw lang ang nakakakita, yun ang mas delikado. Again, hallucination, walang stimuli. Illusion, may stimuli. Nami-misinterpret mo lang yung stimuli na yun. Okay, so domestic violence assessment. So as nurses, we should also consider regarding cases of violence against our patients. Ayan. So ito yung mga common na problema, intimate partner violence, kay asawa, kay girlfriend, kay boyfriend, violence is violence. Child abuse, elder abuse. So ito dapat ina-assess natin mabuti, ginagawan ng document at nire-report po natin. Hindi pwedeng alam mong inabuso tong batang to, hindi ka man lang tatawag ng pulis o ire-report mo sa bisor mo. Dapat ire-report mo to. Okay? So, intimate partner violence or IVP, so could be physical or sexual violence. When you say sexual violence, it is the use of physical force or threat of such violence. For example, okay, since regarding nursing, for example, sexual violence nga, your partner is asking you to do this certain sexual activity with him or her, kay babae ka, kay lalaki, violence is violence, hindi lang siya applicable sa babae. May gusto siyang gawin, ayaw mo, humindi ka na, pero pinilit ka. That is violence, sexual violence. Okay? Kasi under na rin siya ng psychological, emotional abuse or coercive tactics, kahit sabihin mo na, pumayag naman po ako, nurse, pero nung una ayaw ko talaga, pero napilit ka niya. Okay? To the point na nag-oo ka na lang. That is still violence. That is still abuse. Okay? Abuse pa rin yun. So, these are tactics when there has been prior physical or sexual violence between persons who are spouses or non-marital partners. Kesyo nagde-date ka, kesyo mag-boyfriend-girlfriend pa lang kayo, kesyo mag-ex kayo, kesyo nagsasama kayo, kahit hindi pa kayo kasal, abuse is abuse. Okay? Child abuse, neglect to provide a child's basic needs, physical, educational, medicinal, and emotional. So if you are going to base the situation based on the definition na sinasabi natin, what is neglect? To provide a child's basic needs, kasama ng physical, educational, medicinal, and emotional. Kung i-base natin dyan, madami pong Pilipino ang nagagawa ng child abuse. Bakit? Madaming hindi nakakapag-aral. Madaming hindi nakakakain ng mabuti. Madaming hindi nabibigyan ng medicinal na solusyon sa kanilang mga problema, di ba? So there are a lot of parents who are failing to give their child's basic needs. But again, depende rin sa situation. Ayun. So, meron yung iba talagang hindi nila binibigay or yung iba talagang hindi nila kaya. Okay? But ayun nga, before we bring children into this world, we should prepare them para hindi naman sila maka-experience ng mga ganito. So, physical abuse, that is physical injury due to punching, beating, kicking, biting, burning, shaking, or otherwise harming a child. Kahit anong gawin mo na makakasama doon sa bata. Even if the parent or caregiver did not intend to harm the child, such acts are considered abuse when done purposely. At hindi mo naman sinasadya, pero ginawa mo pa din, ayan, kesyo nadala ka ng emosyon mo or whatever, abuse is abuse. Sexual abuse, yan madalas. Madaming nare-report, especially even children na babies, yan, mga infant, ayun. So, this is a very sensitive topic na dapat pinag-uusapan din para mas ma-prevent siya. So, the more that people are aware, the more that we could prevent these things, especially as nurses. It is also our duty and obligation to protect people. Okay? Hindi lang po mga pulis ang pwedeng gumawa nun. Okay? We also need to protect our patients, protect people, even through this. Okay? Ayan, this includes fondling a child's genitals. Okay, yung hinahawakan pa lang. Incest, penetration, rape, sodomy, indecent exposure, and commercial exploitation. Ayan, yung mga parents na ini-exploit yung mga katawan ng mga anak nila. Ayan. Through prostitution or production of pornographic materials. Even if they're just selling these pictures, these videos of these children, crime na po yun, abuso na yun. Okay, that could affect the child's mental state. Emotional abuse is any pattern of behavior that harms a child's emotional development or sense of self-worth. It includes frequent belittling, rejection, threats, and withholding love and support. Yan. So usually, pag sinabi mo sa bata, o sige, pag hindi ka nakakuha ng mataas na grade, hindi kita ihahag. Okay? Hindi tayo magtatabi mamaya sa bed, sabi mo dun sa bata. Doon ka matulog sa sarili mong kwarto. Okay? That's emotional abuse. Okay? Nakita mo yung grade ng anak mo, tapos medyo bumaba. Sabi mo, ano ba yan? Hindi ka ba nag-aaral mabuti? Tingnan mo yung kaklase mo, tingnan mo yung pinsan mo, tingnan mo yung ganito mo. That is belittling. Okay? So, which is why we should never do that to a child. Emotional abuse. Elderly abuse. So, ayan. Sa mga matatanda, diba? Pag hindi na nila kaya. So, physical abuse is violent acts. Siyempre, pag nasaktan sila na nagkaroon ng pain, impairment, disease, ayan, that's physical abuse. Physical neglect, failure of the family or caregiver to provide basic goods, hindi nabibigyan ng pagkain, etc. Food, shelter, ng maayos na higaan. Pag may sakit, hindi nabibigyan ng gamot, that's physical neglect. Psychological abuse, nagbibigay ng mental anguish, yung kunwari minamaliit niyo yung matanda. For example, ang tanda-tanda mo na, wala ka nang naitulong dito. Ayan, di ba? May mga usual cases na makikita na pag sa tingin nila wala nang silbi yung kanilang mga matatanda, ginaganon na nila. Okay, so that's mental anguish. Psychological neglect naman, provide basic social stimulation. Yung binibigay mo nga lahat, hindi mo naman kinakausap, you're not spending time with this person. Ayan, so kailangan din nila yun. Financial abuse, intentional misuse of elderly person's financial sources without the informed consent of the person. So ayan, ginagamit yung pera nung matanda para sa ibang mga bagay na hindi nila alam. Ayan. Financial neglect, failure to use the assets. May pera naman yung matanda pero hindi nyo siya binibigyan ng kanyang pangangailangan. That's financial neglect. So, screening for intimate partner violence. So, meron tayong routine universal screening for intimate partner violence. Means asking every woman at every health center encounter if she has been abused by a husband, boyfriend, or former intimate partner or ex-partner. Ayan, so ini-screen natin sila. The Abuse Assessment Screen as a screening tool for intimate partner violence has a strong support for reliability and validity. Okay, so next we have screening naman. So ito yung mga usually tinatanong natin sa kanila. So especially in elderly people, ayan, we have the AMA. So ito yung mga tatanungin. Has anyone ever touched you up inappropriately without your consent? May mga humahawak po ba sa inyo na hindi nyo naman ginusto? May mga pinapagawa po ba sila na ayaw ninyo? May mga kinuha po ba sila na pagmamay-ari nyo na hindi nila kayo tinanong? Sinaktan na po ba nila kayo? Okay. Have they scolded? Pinagalitan po ba kayo? Sinigawan? Gumawa ng mga banta? May mga pinirmahan po ba kayong mga dokumento na hindi nyo naman naintindihan? Ayan, di ba? Usually, mga properties. Ayan, nalipat-lipat na. May kinatatakutan po ba kayo sa inyong pamamahay? Or may pumupunta po ba sa inyong pamamahay na hindi nyo nagugustuhan? Lagi po ba kayong mag-isa? Okay. Hindi po ba kayo natutulungan ng mga kasama ninyo pag kailangan niyo ng tulong? Ayan. So, ayan. Ma-assess nyo na kagad dyan. It is also important to assess and document prior abuse, including prior IPV, childhood physical and sexual abuse, prior rapes of all kinds. Yan. Stranger, date, intimate partner. And stranger date, natural yung mga hindi nyo kilala. Di ba may mga bigla-biglang nare-rape? Okay. Or even mga kilala, di ba? Usually ganon. Mga date. Ayan, di porket nakipag-date ka sa isang tao that gives them the right to abuse you already. Hindi po. So, dapat ina-assess din yun. Kahit matanda, i-assess nyo din yung mga nangyari sa kanya noon. Cumulative trauma. Kasi nga, pag ito, nag-undergo na nga siya ng partner violence, ng physical trauma ng bata, sexual abuse, ibig sabihin na ipon-ipon na. Okay? Hanggang ngayon pagtanda niya, inaabuso pa rin siya. Nagkaroon ng cumulative trauma. So it has been associated with severe mental and physical health problems. So traumatic injuries due to abuse are more likely to have great impact on patients' current health condition. Example, head trauma, strangulation may be related to neurologic symptoms and problems. So all survivors of violence must be given of mental status examination with particular attention to probable mental problems. Example, depression, suicidal ideation, and post-traumatic stress disorder. So, You have here screening for child abuse naman. So child abuse is common in homes where there is ongoing abuse of an adult. Siyempre, sino bang mag-aabuso dun sa bata? Ibig sabihin, mas matanda sa kanya. So an important part of evaluating any child for suspected abuse is to determine the child's age and developmental level. Okay, so dapat tignan mo, for example, itong 6-month-old, sinabi nung parent sa'yo, dinala sa hospital, tapos sabi, kasi po umakyat po siya ng upuan, tapos nahulog po, sabi sa'yo. Pero alam mo, as a nurse, na ang isang 6-month-old child cannot climb a chair. Hindi pa nga yan nakakatayo eh. Tapos paano siya nakaakyat, di ba? So judgment na lang natin. Assess child for multiple injuries. Ilang ba yung ano niya, yung injury? Baka meron sa kamay, meron sa paa, meron sa leeg. Okay? Check for multiple injuries kasi kung marami na yung injury, hindi na talaga yan aksidente. Ginagawa na talaga sa kanya. Injuries in various stages of healings. Meron yung sa paa, pagaling pa lang. Meron ngayon, may bago na naman. Meron dun sa isa, gumaling na. Ayan. So, unexplained fractures, bruises, burns, and lacerations. Hindi naman pwede. Kaya nga i-assess yung edad at developmental level ng bata. Kasi regarding fractures, bruises, imposibleng mangyari yan sa bata. Okay? Incongruence between explanation and injury. Hindi magkatugma yung explanation ng magulang or ng caregiver sa injury ng bata. Okay, sasabihin na, nadapa po kasi, ganyan. Pero ang injury niya sa tiyan, anong unang matatamaan pag natumba ang bata? Usually, either ulo, kamay pa, tuhod, mga ganyan. Okay, so, may incongruence na nangyayari. For hygiene, hindi inaalagaan mabuti. Ayan. Medical and physical problems are unattended, hinahayaan na magkasakit, venereal disease, difficulty in walking or sitting, lack of crying when approached by stranger. Ayan. So, may mga bata, dapat matakot ngayon pag nilapitan ng stranger. Pero pag yung hindi nila kilala, wala ng reaksyon, possible na abuse, especially children na babae, ayan, mga victims of sexual abuse, wala na sa kanila, nasanay sila. That is the sad part of that. Difficulty in walking or sitting. Why? Possible na may injury, possible na may penetration, sexual abuse. Ayan. So those are the things that we should assess for. Okay, so we will be ending the discussion in here first. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message.